Something I had to learn along the way is that anger is a secondary emotion, but it seemed to be primary in my life. Anger was always showing up. And it wasn't until recently that I was in the company of somebody who made me feel safe enough to unpack where that anger was rooted and what emotion was it masking. Because a lot of us were taught at a young age that anger is power, anger is strong, and it's safer than being vulnerable and saying, I'm hurt, I'm embarrassed, or I'm afraid. In my situation, it was all of the above. My friend asked me, it seems like in the root of your relationships, you always go to anger. What are you so angry about? And I had to think back to my adolescent years. When I was 13 years old, I was walking home from school and I talked to this kid that I used to play basketball with. He asked me to meet him at the court. I said yes. I didn't think anything of it, but when we got home, my mom beat the days off of me. She kicked me, she punched me, and I remember being in fetal position, asking her, why are you treating me like I'm somebody on the street? I'm your kid. And she said that she refused to raise a fast daughter. And at the time, I already knew that I didn't even like men. So I made a decision that I was gonna speak up. I was gonna say something. I had already been in and out of the foster care system, but when it came to telling the business in the house, I kept it to myself to protect my siblings, to protect my mother, to protect home. If you black or you grew up in an underprivileged community, you know what happens in the house stays in the house. But in this moment, I knew that if I didn't say something, I was never going to be anything. Life would continue to be abusive, it would continue to be that of anger, and I would be stuck and stagnant forever in the pain of my mother's past. So I decided at 13 that to talk. And I told my social worker, and she told the judge, and the judge made me stand in court and say that I never wanted to live with my mother again. She lost her rights, and I became a ward of the state. That was a hard decision, and now that I look back at it, it's a testament to my self-awareness, even as a child, of who I'm meant to be and the power that I yield. Saving myself so eventually I could tell my story and be a saving grace for others. But that doesn't happen till down the line. So from the time I'm 13, I'm a ward of the state. 3 years, I'm in and out of different foster homes, I'm bouncing around, and a few months after my 16th birthday, I get a call that my mother has cancer. Mind you, I haven't seen her, I haven't had a relationship with the family since. I'm kind of the black sheep now, I'm ousted. She don't talk to me, she don't check for me. And at the time, I wasn't really thinking it, I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't really deeping the idea that my mom kind of just said, okay, fuck it. She don't want me, then I don't want her. So when they called me and told me she was sick, I didn't care. I was still angry with her. I was still hurt by her. I told my foster dad, I'm cool. I don't want to see her. I don't want nothing to do with her. I don't care. It's about time. I've been waiting for that call because my mother was an addict. She ran the streets, but she had cancer. And eventually he convinced me to see her. I go see her, and literally she passes away the day after. And from that point forward, I operated as angry and cold. And I never allowed anyone ever to get fully in. Because the person I loved the most, the person who was supposed to protect me, the person who was supposed to want me, the person who was supposed to care for me, dropped the ball. And it did damage to my self-worth. It made me extremely insecure. It made me doubt myself. It made me want to take my own life. It really fucked me up. So in every relationship that I had, I destroyed it. The moment I felt somebody getting close, I pushed them away. The moment I felt like there was somebody else that could possibly catch their attention, my jealousy is peaked. It spiked. I operated from a space of anger. And not until somebody asked me, what are you so angry about, Kalia? I was able to really sit and realize that still hard to say, she never came for me. You know, I was 13 years old. I made a decision that I needed to put myself in a position of safety. But as a mother, you fight for your kid. You want to do better. You want to go get them. You want to find a way to make your kid want to go home. But that wasn't the case with mine. It was like, once I made that choice, she didn't come checking for me. It's like almost like I was no longer part of the family. I was no longer her kid until she was sick, until it was too late. I never got answers. I never got an apology. I never got to know why. I never got told I was enough, that I wasn't the problem. So I carried that. I carried that up until recently. I carried that with me because my mom didn't want me. She didn't come for me. She didn't look for me. She didn't check on me. She didn't fight for me. And it made me feel like nobody ever would fight for me. If the woman that gave me life didn't care enough to come fight for me, didn't care enough to come get me, didn't care enough to change her life, then how could I believe I'm worth that from anybody else? I don't even believe I'm worthy of it myself. And in that, now I'm able to go inward because the versions of you don't die, right? The inner child, the inner teen, they don't die. They exist within you and they show up when you're triggered. But as an adult, you get to rewrite that story. You get to rewire your mindset around that. Now I know and understand that my mother did love me. She didn't have the capacity to show it because nobody ever taught her. She didn't have the tools. She didn't have sobriety. She didn't have the mental health resources. She lacked everything she needed to be the mom I wanted her to be. And I found that through my own addiction. I found that through my own mental health journey, my own healing. I had the tools. I had the resources. So I can look back on her journey and say, it had nothing to do with me. Her inability to love me wasn't a reflection of my worth. Her inability to save me was a reflection of her inability to save herself. She couldn't fight for me because she hadn't yet been willing to fight for her. We only can love others and extend love to others as deep as we love us. So I'm able to give her grace. I'm able to forgive her. And I'm able to unpack that anger, look at it, acknowledge it, sit with it, release it, and water myself in a way that nourishes me, that tells me I'm worthy, that tells me I'm enough, that tells little Kalia, it's okay, we're okay. You didn't do anything wrong. You're not a mistake. You're not an accident. You're perfect just the way you are, and you only get better. You know, younger me dealt with so much so I could be here today telling my story, that I could be making an impact in the way that I am today. And I think it's so important to have people around you that allow you the safety to impact the things you're going through, the safety to be vulnerable, but also to be safe for yourself, to create space to sit with that hurt, that anger, and give yourself grace and allow yourself to feel deeply so you can release. Anger is a secondary emotion. We gotta figure out what's hiding behind it so we can heal it. You deserve not to be angry. Anger is stored in the body. It affects you physically, mentally, emotionally, and until you release it, you always feel it. It's time for us to let that anger go. And in order to do so, you gotta find a root. I love y'all.